Welcome you back here to Hephzibah High School as we are about 3 minutes away from beginning the second half of play. I'm Robert Ambrose, once again joined by Sly Williams, and the Hephzibah Rebels leading the Westside Pirates 8-0. They broke a scoreless tie in the final seconds of the opening half, went for two on a fake field goal to convert. They finally got their offense going. Sly, so how does Westside answer? Westside will get the ball to start the second half. So that's when it starts. How do they answer to that?
Well, if you're Westside, you have to look back to what you did on the first drive of the game. The first drive of the game, they were successful with the inside runs. They had a guard pulling, kicking out the inside tackle or the inside or the defensive end, and they ran straight up the middle. So that's what you have to do if you're Westside. You have to go back to what works for you. And if you go back and you make what works for you and you make it work in this second half, you can have a completely different outcome. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Westside has done a pretty good job on the defensive side of the ball. You only gave up 8 points. If you give up 8 points in a half, you would think that you had a pretty decent half if you consider yourself Westside. But now you look on the other side of the ball, Hephzibah has shot themselves in the foot plenty of times. They've had at least 4 15-yard penalties, maybe more. I'm not quite sure. I have to go and look at the stats. But they've had a bunch of personal fouls. They had a running into the kicker. They've had holding calls at bad times. You know, these are mental mistakes. These are little mistakes. These are self-discipline mistakes. Now, if you take away those mistakes, you can have a completely different ball game. Hephzibah might be up by two touchdowns if they don't have these little mistakes.
Yeah, they did overcome them ultimately in that half to take the lead, and they're going to try and use that momentum in the second half. But here is a major disadvantage for Westside if history repeats itself in the second half. Westside has not allowed a single point in any of its 3 victories this season, and they will not complete a shutout tonight. Based on history, that does not favor Westside at all going into the second half.
It doesn't favor Westside at all. You know, their history of giving up points. You know, when they win, they usually win big. You know, they usually shut out on the defensive side of the ball. They usually pitch a shutout. But now it's just about digging deep. If you're Westside, you have to dig deep. You have to realize that your offense hasn't been your strong point for the year. So now you have to figure out how are we going to dig deep? How are we going to step up big to make some plays happen and to turn this thing around? Turn this thing around for the Patriots.
And for the Patriots, in their 3 losses, they're 3-3. In their 3 losses, and overall this season, since they haven't allowed a point in any of the wins, the most points they've allowed in any game is 15. So Martinez is 7 points shy of matching that here this afternoon. As we are about getting set for kickoff, so Hephzibah will kick off to the Patriots to start the third quarter in the second half here in this one. The rain's starting to come down, which you knew was going to happen eventually with the way the forecast was set up for today's game.
Shout out to the dedicated fans, man.
So, Sly, you played in plenty of Friday night games in your career during your high school days, and in your college days, you played a lot of Saturday day games, which none of these high school players are used to here today. So, how do you prepare differently for a game on a Saturday afternoon like today versus a normal Friday night game? You obviously played a lot more Saturday games than most of these guys during your college days.
Well, here's the thing. We talked to Coach Harrell on Thursday, and he said what they had to do, they shifted things back a day. You know, on Mondays, they usually do a walkthrough. They go over the film and stuff like that on Mondays. So they just shifted everything back one day. And that's how these guys got prepared. And also, on Saturday morning, he told everybody they had to be here at 9 o'clock. He said he had players showing up at 7 o'clock this morning, just wanting to get into the gym and get prepared for today's game.
And all you have to do today is just get up and get ready to play ball. You don't have to go to school beforehand like you normally do on Fridays. So here's the kickoff. And on the return is Zaw Green, a sophomore, stopped shy of the 20. Not a good return for Westside. Field position has not favored them at all in this game, and it showed with the score, trailing 8-0.
Yeah, tough sledding. They got a long road to hoe, as they like to say, going up the field trying to get into the end zone if you're the Patriots. But right now, it's all about consistency. It's all about taking what you do best and you putting it out here on the field. And they like to run the ball, and they can run the ball well between the tackles. So let's see what they do.
The Patriots have been shut out once in their 3 losses. That was in their season opener. Here's the snap. Handoff up the middle. And that's going to be just shy of the first down. Terrell Price hands it off up the middle. And it'll be about 2nd and 1. A good gain, good start to the half on the first play.
And here you go. Basically, same thing. That offensive guard is going to pull. He's going to kick somebody out, create a big hole, and you just run straight up the middle. And here you have it, Westside doing what they do well and just keep on doing it.
And the line are trained to push opposite directions to open up those holes. And they do it well there, as you saw on your replay. Here's another handoff. And no gain. I don't believe he got the first down there.
Yep, didn't pick up the first down.
Yards.
Probably lost about 1 or 2 yards on that play. You know, they had 2 guards pulling on that one, trying to get a little bit to the outside, just couldn't quite make it. The penetration from the Hephzibah defensive line shut that down really quick.
3rd and 2. Price now under center. Backs in the I formation. Handoff up the middle, and that's a first down just enough. So they're able to just get enough, and that's all they were focusing on in that play. And it's a successful one, so first down for the Patriots.
You know, quick hitter, straight up the middle, handed off to the fullback. I think the ball popped loose a little bit toward the end, but it got one of those offensive bounces and pounced right back
Today,
into
the ball
his hand.
is slick. It's going to be hard for people to hang on to the ball, no matter how they hold on to it, whether it's 4-point contact or not.
Well, you know, here's the thing. This is what you go through in practice, though. You practice on getting prepared for wet days like this. You practice holding on to the ball. And, you know, my coach always said there's no excuse for dropping the ball.
Another handoff, and they're going to pitch. That's the first time we've seen a pitch all game for either team. And it's 2nd down, stop for no gain. The chain still says it's 4th down, but that's a mistake. It's 2nd down now.
You know, attacking the short side of the field on that toss sweep. They had the 2 wide receivers spread to the wide side of the field, and they attacked the tight end side over on the toss sweep. So what you want to do, anytime you run that toss sweep, you want to get a numbers game. You want to outweigh. You want to have more people on that side, on the other side where you're running that sweep to.
Another handoff, muscling forward. Gates about a yard or 2, 3rd down.
You know, and once again, doing what they do best, just running straight up the middle, and let's see what happens.
Run the ball quickly up the field.
And see what happens. Now you got a manageable 3rd and 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 maybe.
Yeah, and if you get positive yards every play, even if it's not a lot, it sets you up for manageable situations, and that's what you want to go for no matter what, even if you can't get the big play. They're going to go for the first pass of the second half, caught for barely a gain of yard. That's not going to be enough for a first down. 4th down for the Patriots, and we'll see if they stay on the field. No, they're going to bring the kick team on. Probably a smart decision here when you're in your own territory.
And now that rain's starting to come down a little bit harder. You know, they're starting to open up those floodgates right here. So now it's time to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and you talk about preparing for the rain. What's it like? You're preparing all week, and it's beautiful weather all week, like it's been this weekend, and then all of a sudden it rains on game day. How does that work?
Well, here's the thing. You know, as a coach, there's plenty of things you have to do. And one of the big things is keeping your eye out on that 5-day forecast.
But even so, it's still sunny the whole day, and you're trying to prepare for completely different type of weather.
And see what you do on rainy days like this. If you're a coaching staff, you play with what we call the old balls in practice. You get all the oldest balls that you have in practice, and those slick balls that you have in practice, and you go ahead and you wet them up. You get the ball wet before every play. You let your team get used to playing with that wet ball or the slick ball, so you can be prepared. And you want, like I said, you want to use the old ball so you don't have to worry about messing up any of your new equipment.